Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Imagine this. The year is 2009. Batman Arkham Asylum had just come out. You played it, finished it, perhaps even completed it. So you rush to the store to trade it in, and you see the game Damnation. Out of curiosity, you decide to pick it up, go to the counter, where the clerk says to you, stay away from the demon. You ignore his warning and head home to pop in the disc to have a jolly good time. As you start up the game, there's an FMV. It's a bit ugly, but lore matters. Apparently you're in a dystopian alternative world where different events took place and now we're living in a damnation. As you continue to watch, you just become more and more confused. What is happening in the scene? There's a bunch of people fighting, and then there's an army marching. Then there's a random ninja who comes in and cuts down a bunch of these guys, and then these other guys come in. Who are they? What are they? Where did they come from? You don't understand what is happening. You are genuinely confused. But it's okay. The game will explain. You start playing and your soul just leaves your body. The devil has consumed you. That's right. I'm talking about the game that destroyed this company, Damnation. Hello everyone. It's your boy Trashboat. Today we're looking at the magical game Damnation. This is often recited as one of the worst games of all time, and it killed the studio behind it. But I'm here to find out why. Maybe it's not that bad. But before then, I should stress there isn't much information on the behind the scenes. From what I could gather, the game was originally based on an Unreal Tournament 3 mod, where the studio created a unique mode where it was a third-person platforming game with shooting. Epic Games first make something Unreal whereby they won second place for best total conversion game modification. From there, it was a bit murky on how they got acquired or built. I assume after winning, Codemasters decided to hire them and told them to create a fully fledged game with extra cash. But after the reception as the game came out, it fell from the earth and now is part of obscurity. But why, if they won second place and also got bought by Codemasters, what could have happened? Anyway, let's finally take a deep dive and find out what went wrong. So, first off, I have to talk about the characters. I don't know any of the characters. The game never explains or goes into detail who they are, expecting me to know who they are without knowing anything about them. It's like this game was supposed to be a sequel to something, but there's no other game or media to explain. You're just thrown into a world expecting to know everything about it. First of all, I don't know any of the character names. I often miscall the main character throughout my playthrough as Riddick, but his name is Rorik. I have no idea. Everybody in this game is incredibly bland, with no personality. Everyone is so bad, and our main character is especially bland. It's like he's cardboard. It's like he doesn't need to exist. He's so non-existent, he's just there manifesting throughout the whole game. And then when we're talking about a crew, we have Mexican Spanish boy. We have random lady who doesn't know how to dress, and her stripper brother. We have Big Tits, and her dad Professor Man. I don't know any of the character names, and I don't care to know because there's nothing to care about. Okay, that's a bit of a lie, because I do remember one character, and that's Prescott, because the game constantly is reminding you throughout every level, through the speakers, preaching his name every second the game can. But there's no one else I know. Even from a design point, everyone is both unique and generic. There's so much that could have been done with the steampunk attire. Instead, they opted for crap generic clothes with characters dressing like they came out from the 60s but don't match the setting of the era they're set in. Even the enemies look like shit. What even are these designs? Honestly, everything from design to characters are so bad. And as for story, I have no idea what it's about. I know this is Batman, stop Batman because he's doing bad things, now go stop him with your team. But it's like, excuse me, I would like to know more. The game doesn't care, they don't bother answering this question. Nothing in this story makes sense. You often just go places with no real insight or any real reason. Or worse, characters have their motivations, but then go against their motivations, often having a 180 moment. Like, I don't understand. Characters make baffling decisions and outright random ones too, that make no sense to the overall plot, but for the sake of drama. It's like watching the third act of Endgame without seeing any of the Marvel films. Like, sure, you might enjoy it, but what's going on? The game assumes everything. They assume you know who these characters are. They assume you know their backgrounds, their past, their history. But no, they assume you know there are powers in this universe and somehow contradict our own world, even though this is supposed to be a somewhat take on an alternative history. When it comes to the storytelling, nothing in this game makes sense. And I'll go over it with my last segment, but as for right now, I can tell you story is getting a 1 out of 10. It should be a 0, but at least it's something that kept pushing me to finish it. And don't even get me started on the visuals. I know I don't really talk about it, but the graphics are insanely bad. It looks ugly. I hate games of this era, where the games were nothing but shit brown and moss green for realism. The whole game looks as though it was covered entirely in Vaseline. Someone took a big chunk of it and smeared it all over the screen, then decided to amp up the bloom to 100%, and the end result is it looks like shit. And just to elevate how crap it looks, this was the era where Assassin's Creed 2, Batman Arkham Asylum, COD Modern Warfare 2, Mirror's Edge, Dragon Age Origins, Left 4 Dead 2, what's pretty bad. Uncharted 2. I can go on and on and on, but I want to move on. This game is just disgusting, and just to clarify, there were some really good looking games in this era. For example, like I said, Uncharted 2. It's beautiful. Or something similar to the budget as Damnation, check out Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs. It doesn't look that bad. Trine was really good. Flower looks amazing. And I can continue, but I should probably stop. If other colors were colors outside of piss yellow, it would look okay. Just have nice bright colors, cause the worst thing about this game was that this was the era where filters were used to make a game look realistic. Like, nah bro, I don't want that. And this game has an ugly gray filter to mute out the colors even more, making it look even more so bland than it is. In any case, I could at the very least forgive this if the game was fun. Instead, the gameplay is absurd. I don't understand how it became so bad. As you start the game, you notice straight away with how janky the animations are. They are insanely bad. There's no real animation for turning or anything. You just flip like a 2D character. Early on in the game, you're supposed to do some platforming, but it's such jank it hurts. The AI teammates are just as bad if not worse. You can tell how janky they are by the way they move. They move without any real physics, and from time to time the AI just randomly stops functioning, falls into the ground, and drags themselves to you. Like, what even is this? When the main character runs, he sprints while doing an action hero jump. It's frankly amazing, but what sucks are the controls. It's so awkward. In addition to that, he has no weight, he just does it with no build up. The crazy and frustrating part of the jump is how it's so uneventful, because you can't do it whenever you want. You have to wait for Riddick to catch his breath every single time he does it. Plus, he's out of stamina so quickly all the goddamn time. And by far the most irritating part of the jump is that yes, it does look like an actual hero jump, but the programmers forgot to make the windows breakable. Half if not majority of the time spent playing this game was trying to make myself look cool, but I can't. No matter how many times I tried, I couldn't for the life of me jump through a window, pull out my guns and stop blazing. Instead, I had to play like a basic bitch, hiding, running, shooting, waiting. It's so disappointing. I wish I could get more creative, but this game is so restrictive. I hate it. I don't like it. No other game should be like this. Another major part that sucks about this game is its main core function. The shooting sucks so much. It works, but it's so uneventful and almost random at times. When you kill an enemy, it feels so nonchalant. There's no feedback, there's no hit marker, there's no impact, there's no feeling of you just did something when you kill a person. It feels bland, it feels boring, and that's the worst part of it. It feels boring. I don't want to kill anyone for how uneventful it is. The guns have no weight to them. None of them feel like they have any impact at all. I can't tell if any of them are doing any damage half the time. There's also little to no guns in this game, which I find is okay, but the ones that are included suck. None of them are cool looking or even unique. Only one of them is, but the issue the game has is the limited amount of ammo you can carry. For instance, a sniper rifle can only hold up to 3 rounds at a time before reloading, which is terrible. But you might think, that's fine. But it's not when the physics in this game are horrible. When I shoot the bullets, they sometimes go right through the enemy at times. It's just annoying knowing that I wasted ammo. For the most part, I just want to rush through the game so I can just be done with it. It is absolutely horrible. I do enjoy the gibs though, but that is such a tiny compliment to the overall garbage that is the shooting. When you do engage shootouts, the enemy is completely brain dead. There are times when I'm killing a bunch of them and none of them realize, whereas other times the AI freaks out and knows your location from a mile away, or how they become way overpowered as to they can one-shot you. It's so dumb. I can put in at least 20 rounds into one of them only for him to walk away and live. They're basically bullet sponges. Thankfully though, for the most part they are brain dead, so there's no need to worry. But when they shoot, they definitely do more damage than you. But the fun doesn't stop there, baby. One of the more pissed off moments I had with this game came down to the goddamn platforming. Holy shit, I hated platforming. It's so bad. I cannot stress with how much annoyance this shit caused me. And in order to talk about the platforming, I have to talk about the level design, whereby this game is horrible at. But first things first, the platforming. In order to jump from a wall, you need to be running towards it. You can't be sprinting. You have to run, then stop, then continue to have a bit of momentum. As soon as you get very close to it, then and only then are you able to jump from it. You can't just go to the wall and leap from it. You have to do this every single goddamn time. If you get close to the wall and jump, the game doesn't even register it unless you do all those steps. And you're going to be doing this for the majority of the game. 68% of the whole game is just platforming, and it's awful. Not only are you going to be leaping from the walls, you're going to be jumping from poles, ladders, windows and such. The basic stuff. But what makes this game worse than the others like Tomb Raider are the controls and the level design. The level design makes absolutely no sense. There are countless number of times when the environment is bizarre. Why there's so many ladders that are broken or for some unknown reason just misplaced. Why do I have to keep jumping back and forth between stupid broken ladders? There's probably like 100 broken ladders throughout the whole game. Not 100, more like 1,000. If you count every single ladder that's just in the game, you're gonna reach about to at least 600 ladders. They're all just misplaced or randomized for no reason. The stupid out of place platforming makes no sense to the overall world. It's just forced in there for the sake of it. Combine this with the garbage controls with the confusing level design, and all you're left with is a mess. This game is nothing but trash. I cannot stress how often I was mainly confused at usually very simple level designs. Now you might be thinking, that doesn't make any sense. But look at this shit! All of it looks the same. The textures in this game are so bad, to the point where everything meshes together. And when the game never explains, shows or hints at where to go, I'm searching for hours where to go all the time. I literally got so fed up at one point, I had to watch another person's let's play to tell me where to go, and it was the absolute most blatant bullshit in existence. I just cannot stress how much headache this game has caused me. I should mention another reason why the platforming is bad is because the AI sucks. For the most part, you can watch where the AI goes, But at moments the AI will freeze up and wait till you do something. They'll wait till you manage to figure out what the puzzle is to the solution, so then they can just follow you. But then there are times that the AI knows where to go without you even knowing, so you could just follow them as I did. Then there are times where the AI magically spawn where you're supposed to go. It's very annoying to figure out where you're headed. And my second to last issue with the platform comes down to how the developers completely forgot to give Riddick a side jump. When he's holding onto a platform and needs to do a side jump, he can't. This has to be the biggest oversight. This was just annoying. There were multiple points as I was playing where I would get stuck, and in order to solve the platforming was by jumping to the side. But because you can't do that, I had to find a proper way the game wants you to. This game's like, nah, you don't need it. It's just maddening knowing I could save so much time if I could just side jump. Holy crap. And finally, the last issue is how the game has everything be linked to the shift key, and this is very prominent in the platforming. So I'm constantly tapping on the shift key to the point my pinky hurts. It felt like it had blisters. I got in so much pain because of this dumb game. Having shift is normal for all games. I'm usually fine with it, but this game in particular had almost everything be linked to it. If you don't believe me, well, to run you have to tap on the shift key, but Roddick keeps running out of breath quickly, so you have to keep tapping on it. To swing normally in a game of platforming, that will be assigned to the forward key. Not this game, shift it is. And let me assure you that after pressing shift so many times, your pinky too will hurt. The fun doesn't stop there though. To pull doors, shift. To pull a lever, shift. To get on or out of a vehicle, shift. To jump from a holding position, you have to press shift, but pressing the shift here has work gain position to jump, so you're gonna have to press the space bar anyway. I hope you understand how insane this is. But seriously, holy shit, I cannot stress how much pain my hand was in. Like, I couldn't press the shift key anymore. This game legitimately made it hurt so much. But regardless, aside from that, this game has like more issues, such as is how they added a mechanic to shoot these yellow bars. It's shown off in the tutorial once and then reappears an hour later. Then it doesn't show up till way later in the game at the very end. Like, what was the point of this? Then almost halfway through the game, around chapter 3, you end up doing puzzles for some reason. I spent an hour and a half trying to figure out what the hell to do till I realized the game now has introduced puzzles. But why? We're like halfway through the game. It doesn't make any sense. Another almost useless mechanic in the game is the driving. Oh my god. It can actually make a person sick. The controls are fine, but it's more so that the speed you're going at. Add that with the textures and areas you're usually in when driving, and you're gonna be left with a mess. The game wants you to drive on the walls, but because the textures look the same, I'm often confused as to where I am, and this leads to nausea. Like, what's happening here? And it makes me want to vomit. Then there are times when there's a clear distinction between up and down, but very rarely, especially with the speed you end up in. It can actually make you sick, but the driving parts are just useless. They don't add anything. You never really have a good reason to be driving. It's just there to pad out the game. But to be honest, it was a nice change of pace, at least, and I can give my pinky a rest, so that was nice. But honestly, it's like, it can make a person vomit. The textures look absolutely horrendous. You drive, you go upside down, then you go back around, but then you stop and you just have to think like, what's going on here, man? And maybe one of the last major issues I have with this game comes down to the fact that it's undeniably restrictive. This is by far the most frustrating part about the whole game. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter. The game forces you to do things in a certain way. No matter how much you or I want to change them. It forces you to be so streamlined, you might as well be watching a movie for how linear the game wants you to play. Check this out. I need to get down here because I'll be here at some point. So I figure it's not too far down, so I could jump down from here. But every time I jump down, the game loads me back to a checkpoint. So I keep trying. I figure I could jump on the pole, then drop down. That should work, but nope. Same thing. It just reloads to the checkpoint. I don't understand why. I've jumped from higher places and lived, but the game wants you to get there in such a specific way. It's unenjoyable. I just don't understand whose decision this was. That's so stupid. And the last aspect of the game that is utterly shit is we going back to shooting. You can only reload by aiming. You can't reload by hitting R. At first you might think that's fine, but when you're in firefights you can't reload without aiming. It's insane to me. That's such a stupid decision. Who made that decision? Who was the genius behind this? I ended up dying more often to the reloading than anything else. You have to play so safe, it's aggravating. You also might be thinking, what's so bad about that? If you're getting shot, just change your guns. But that's the issue, you can't cancel out the animation. So if you're reloading, you're stuck till it's done. Like, what the hell? But yeah, that's it. That's the issue. I hate it. I hate this. I hate this game so much. It's not very good. But we're not done. If there's one thing this game does well, it's checkpoints. No joke. No joke. Seriously, no joke. The game has decent spawns. If you mess up and fall off a cliff or somewhere, the game has a blue spawn point where you end up reloading to the last place you were. But then the game has red checkpoints where they're bad and you end up going back to the last area. So you need to kill everyone again, but usually it's not that bad. But besides that, there's not much else this game does well. Everything else is shit. The music is crap. You end up hearing the same song throughout the whole game. It's always playing, and when it's not there, it's silence. There's no ambience to it. There's nothing. The environments are shit. Every place you go looks the same. It looks like you're just stuck in deja vu, as areas are boring, bland, and forgettable. Nothing is cool. Nothing stands out. And the way you end up in those areas are crap and random. I'd like to know how we get there. Instead, the game's like, nah, you're just there in the sewers. Why? Nah, don't worry about it. So many random garbage platforming sections that don't need to exist, and in almost every level you will end up hearing a speaker, and usually the first thing I'm gonna shoot for how it keeps repeating the same nonsense throughout. Nothing in this game has been good. And my last talking point before the next segment is score. In this case, the game is getting an easy 1 out of 10. Nothing is good. Everything about it is bad. There's not a single thing that's redeemable about the gameplay. Outside of the checkpoints, everything is terrible. The levels, the shooting, the platforming, driving. I don't know how a game like this is even accomplished. And in any case, the game is an easy 1 out of 10. Anyway, my last talking point for the game is story. Go. Alright, cool. Quick rapid fire. Army comes into town marching and killing other army. We don't know who they are. Bad army sends a cool ninja who kills the other army people. Our group of ragtags come but get cut off where they carry on by foot. Riddick remembers the past with some lady called Dayton who saved him with her magic. But when he tried to take her away, she's like, nah bro, I'm on duty. But here's my necklace for you to remember me by. Stripper girl comes in and is like, look bro, she got out. And he's like, nah bro, I asked her to marry me. End of conversation. They meet up with the Mexican Spanish guy and they end up destroying a bridge full of bad guys. But Ninja guy comes and takes away Professor Man. The group go huddle up in the airship where Spanish boy, main character, get an argument for some reason. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, in a fight now. There's no context or reason. Anyway, they then try to find the professor, but first they need help from some stripper guy. He has powers because he can scout people and find out where they are. So he tells them where to go and they go there. Characters get on a zipline where the game cuts to the villains where we see Big Tits and someone else. They take this green liquid and inject it into themselves, but Big Tits is like, nah bro. But the other person is like, come on bro. Big Tits is then like, fine. The game then gets hideously close to the characters' faces. Like, nah game. They don't even look good. What was the point with this shot? Ew. The character models look dead. They don't look good. After destroying the robots, the game cuts to another cutscene where we take out the two people. But instead of us even fighting them, Big Tits is lying on the floor with other girl leaving her behind. Roddick manages to find them and other girl runs with Rick following behind. That run cycle is so bad. What even was that run cycle? Is he drunk? It looks dumb. Ruddick meets up with his team where they found the professor and he brings them to Big Tits. Okay, so the game finally tells us the name of the girl you can't dress. Her name is Yankee Can? Yaki Can? Yankee? What kind of name is that? Okay, whatever, I guess. The professor tells the characters Big Tits is actually his daughter and she must be brought back to life, and Yankee Can insists that she die, but the professor says otherwise. The game shows the characters discussing what to do now, and Yankee Can kicks Big Tits. And I don't know why, but I find this scene so funny. She kicks her only for Big Tits to punch her foot, and Yankee Can's like, "Come on bro, I need you to do it, come on," while pulling out a gun. It's just so stupid. Oh, the game finally tells us her name. It's Jack. Oh, I like Big Tits. Ruddick and Spanish Boy destroy one of the buildings that's apparently pretty important to the bad guys. But as they do that, Riddick and Spanish Guy are about to die, or at least Spanish Boy thinks so. And his delivery here is so funny.
I no longer care for this plan. We are dead men. The Corsair. You and I, we are a couple of lucky bastards.
We are already dead, man. And the way he shouts when he's saved, oh my god. The delivery is hilarious. They jump on the airship. The game then shows the bad man is angry. He's like, "Nah, why you lose my twin? Why? Look, I'm angry." But then Bad Lady's like, "Don't worry, it's alright. I got this seer and everything's okay." But the seer guy looks like me when I shat my pants. And I'm disappointed in myself. Like, bruh, what went wrong? Are you okay? What happened?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
The game then cuts to Jack, whose arm is replaced to a cool robot steampunk arm. I ain't gonna lie, that looks sick. Professor Man lays down the truth on Jack and she's like, "Yo, I might be fighting for the wrong side." Yankee Can insists we kick her out, but like still bruh, her dad's right there. Okay, so quick, whoever was in charge of the camp work here decided to do a round shot, but for no real reason. You don't do a shot like this unless you are here to present a plan, or there to present characters in a quick fashion, or to build suspense, or once again, hide a mystery. For example, when characters are playing a poker game or any card game, you can do a round shot and then hide the cards. That way you're still familiar with the characters, understand their techniques and such. It's just there to build upon character traits, really. I just found this camera shot out of place and I just found it really dumb, and I want you to comment on it. In any case, the crew sailed their way to some area called Terra Verte, but before they realize, they find Jack, who hijacked a plane, and Yankee is like, "Bruh, I should have killed her." But look at the professor. He's like, "What?
I should have killed her."
What?
Rick and Spanish Guy go after her. The two characters get shot down but jump ship. Rick and Spanish Boy for some reason want to fight, but Ninja Guy is about to shoot them but misses. They follow him down some area and they find an ancient city somehow. Sometime later they run into the bad lady, but Jack shows up and teams up with us. All you have to do to stop her is go up the hill and push the statue where she dies. Like, wow, that's so climactic. It sure was worth it. But uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, the masked man saves her with magic, so she's not dead. Prescott is doing a bit of kinky stuff to the seer when he's told that a bad person died, and he's like, "Nah bro, that can't be the case." Remember how Bad Girl is alive? Well, Ricky and Jack chase after her with Spanish Man splitting ways, going to Terra Verte or Spain for sure. Alright, and Riddick is like, "I'll come after you after I find Dayton." Yeah, I too forgot about who that was. It's his girlfriend or wife, I'm not too sure. They catch up to her and the ninja guy, but Riddick is like, "Bro, what happened to Dayton? What do you do to her?" They end up fighting for a bit when Ninja Guy's like, "Bro, I'm Dayton! Me!" Riddick falls silent and Bad Girl walks away. They end up fighting and kill Dayton with Ricky not saying anything about her death, or how Jack was a part of it, or anything. Okay, I guess. And this is never, ever brought up ever again. Ricky and Jack go to Terra Verte, where Rick has the most emotion throughout the whole game by shouting out for his love for General Zagato. They speak and he dies, where he gives Ricky a key and Spanish Boy comes down and saves them. Rick tells him that he's also now in charge of Terra Verte, and we never see him again. Jack and Rick find the bad girl once again, and this time kill her by Fucking drowning her? That's a bit dark, innit? Could've just shot her. Jack and Rick decided to stop the bad guys from taking over Terra Verde by drowning the whole city. I thought we were the good guys. Why did we drown everyone? They jump ship and get on the airboat. But again, why did we drown the city? The group come up with a new plan to go after Prescott. As they're about to, Yankee Can gets a vision that her brother's being tortured. Yankee Can and Rick go after Prescott. When they reach Prescott, they find Stripper Guy lying down. They save him and they manage to get a shot on Prescott where he runs away. Tracking him down, he's gone into a robot, and taking it down's pretty easy. After destroying the robot, it blows up with Prescott dead. The end. Ha! JK, there's more. I forgot to mention that before he ran, he took the green juice and is now Superman. After putting a few bullets into him, he's just lying on the floor, dead. That's a bit underwhelming, but as long as I'm finished, I don't care. The game ends with all the characters, excluding Spanish guy on the airship, looking over the horizon for the next adventure. And oh my god, that concludes this review. This game has been nothing but a mess and was aggravating to play. It's quite ironic that the game's title set out to be what it is. There's so much wrong that could have been corrected and could have led to some fun. One aspect of this game I missed is the multiplayer. One, because I have no friends who own this game, and two, they wouldn't play with me because of my constant whining for how bad the game was. But I could imagine this game being better with a friend, as Resident Evil 6 was. So I imagine if two suffer, that's an experience in itself. But really, this game is shadowed in mystery with its development, and that's what really sucks about it. How do you win a tournament, a competition? You get $2 million or however much they got. They got bought out by Codemasters, who at the time still was developing driving games. I forget what games they're developing, my bad. And you're telling me that this game, the first ever game, obscurity and dead, company gone. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video and give it the usual like and sub. If you don't, I don't really mind too much. Just do you, you know? If you did watch it, I appreciate you very much. Take care and see ya. Oh my gosh. I kind of forgot to give a score, huh? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but if you do, the score is a 1 out of 10. The only reason why I'm giving it a 1 is because the game has some decent camera work. Like for example, when we were fighting Prescott, towards the end in the area, the camera work was actually not bad. But generally, camera work doesn't really make a story. It kind of just helps the story. And the story in this needed a lot more help. But overall, game was terrible. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Alright, take care, see ya, and have a good day, or night, or whenever you watch this. Alright, see ya.